and master them. In a moment, we're going to talk to Alan. Alan, go ahead and welcome Alan, by the way. Alan came down here to show us his game, A Good Snowman is Hard to Build. And you can play that out in the arcade.
Yeah, so, hey! I was going to say, is this working? So I was going to say that it's a good thing the music isn't working because Ryan's not here. But now it's working, so he should be here. I don't know. He's coming in today, but I didn't check what time. So maybe he's getting in too late. Yeah. Do you guys want to start now? Okay, so I don't really know what I was going to talk about. So you've got kind of 3 long rambly sections of me talking, and then when I peter out, you can ask some questions, or you can ask some questions now. I don't really care. And Kyle said that he would butt in and like ruin everything. So whenever you're ready to do that, just go ahead. When you're done eating, it's fine. So yeah, this is A Good Snowman is Hard to Build. I made this with Benjamin Davis, who did, honestly, most of the work. He did most of the programming and all of the art, and it looks amazing. And also with Ryan Roth, who did all of the music and audio. I did the level design and the overall design, some of the coding, and I guess project management, but that's not a real job. We started this back in December 2013. It was like a few weeks before Christmas, and we were like, we're both finished on our big projects. Let's make a small jam game. It'll be out in a couple of weeks. It'll be like a Christmassy game. It'll be a nice small project to take the pressure off having done our big projects. We released it back in February this year, so that's like only slightly more than a year, so that's still small relative to other things. It's a puzzle game where you're a monster and you're making snowmen, and I guess I'll demonstrate the basic gameplay and nice sounds. So you're this guy. He's a monster. He doesn't have a name, and you can push over snowballs and push them around. And obviously, as everyone knows, a snowman is and can only be a large snowball, and then a medium snowball on top of that, and then a small snowball on top of that. No other snowmen are capable of existing. That is the definition of a snowman. This one's called Lucy. I quite like Lucy. She's got a lovely straw hat. Let's give her a hug. So you can, yeah, they do that. That's what butterflies do. So, yeah, whenever you make snowman, most of the time you'll find a butterfly jumping into existence and playing with you in that level. And so there's not actually a lot of mechanics in the game. It's basically you can roll some snowballs. You can roll them into snow to make them bigger. That's what snow and snowballs do. So we started with a small. We can roll it twice to make it a large one, and then we make a medium one and a small one. And hey presto, there's another snowman. This one's Andy. He's pretty fancy Andy. Let's give him a little hug here. Aww. And then, like, over the course of the game, the puzzles get a bit harder. Like, those were the 2 intro puzzles. Like, and then we kind of just start throwing you into puzzles that people shout at me for. It depends. Like, this one you can do quickly or you can do slowly, depending on how smart you are. But if you do something like this, then that's not going to work at all. Like now they're stuck down there, and a lot of stuff lying around that you can't walk into, you can't push into the trees, but what you can do is you can just try and push it, and it might push back. Like trees, they're a bit fickle. You don't want to pick a fight with a tree because the tree's going to win every time. We want it to have it so that pretty much everything in the environment you can interact with in some way. So you can kick the trees. You can just lean into the hedge and lay back. And obviously you've got benches, and so you can sit down and just have a relaxing think about the level. Like just there's no pressure. Just take your time. There's just relax. Think about things. So yeah, I'm gonna just open the door, because like really the whole game is just about opening doors. So really the way to win the game is just to press the secret debug key and then open all the doors. You don't need to make the snowman, because if you make a snowman, you have to hug the snowman, and that's a lot of emotional work. Like I mean I don't know about you guys, but I get enough hugging at festivals like this. I don't need hugging in my games as well. It's just like way too much. And then so this is the level that's meant to introduce you to the way that snow works. Like, so not many people know this, but snow, physicists don't really understand snow. Like it shouldn't exist, but like there's one thing that's particularly confusing about snow, which is, so you've got a snowball. Like anyone can make a snowball. I mean the monster can't. The monster can only find snowballs, but any human can make a snowball. And then you can very easily turn that snowball from a small snowball into a medium snowball. Like that's just pushing it for a bit, and then from a medium snowball to a large snowball. But this is entirely true. You can look this up on Wikipedia. There is nothing larger than a large snowball. Like you just push it and it absorbs the snow. Like that should break entropy or something. But no, you can just roll up all the snow and it just doesn't get any bigger. Like where does the snow go? We don't know. We don't understand this. Like it shouldn't happen, but here in this game there is the proof. Like that's snow. Like so I made this game to try and make my peace with how really none of us knows anything, and really it just got more confusing. Like there's so much about snow that we will never understand, and we all have to make our own peace with that. So this is David. He's got a build attack because you can't be too careful when you're making snowman. I'm just gonna give him a hug because I've made the snowman, so I have to hug him, and I'm just gonna stay because David's very special to me. Like just let us have this moment. Like no, why you laugh? Like this is a very tender moment to me, and you're making it a trivial matter. This is deeply meaningful to me. Like I can't believe. Right, that's better. Like a calm, serene, composed atmosphere in the room would be great. Thank you. So yeah, it's very important to me that you can express your feelings to the snowman, because like they can't tell you anything. You have to be the one bearing the emotional workload of that relationship. And there's so many snowmen. There's so many of them, and they're all special to you, or they should be. If you're going to make a snowman and it doesn't mean anything to you, then you should just go home. Like you shouldn't be making that snowman. So yeah, I have feelings about it. Was I abandoned by a snowman as a child? I couldn't say. This is not an autobiographical game. This is not. We don't have snow in the UK. It doesn't exist. but it could be. So, I think that's all I have to say about the mechanics of the game. Like, you go through the world, you complete some levels, you make some snowmen. We'll make this one. So as a puzzle game, it's very important to me to have branching levels. If you're stuck in one level, then you've got options of where to go. Because if it's a linear game and you're stuck, and in a puzzle game you're probably going to get stuck at some point, then it's not really any fun because you're just hitting your head against one puzzle. But if you have multiple puzzles open to you, you can go, well, I'm not getting anywhere with this one, so I can go somewhere else. Give Kate a hug. So here we can go up this way, we can go this way, and oh, what's this? It's a telescope. Should I look into the telescope? Okay. Telescope it's not. Well, no, it's too dangerous. Too dangerous. So there's really only a couple of other mechanics in the game, and they're all a consequence of what's already been seen. You can push a snowball on top of another one, and then push it off, which is basically the only other thing you need to do. Here's Rebecca. It's her birthday. It's her birthday every day of the year. So let's just give her a little hug to say happy birthday. Well, Chris doesn't need to exist. He can. Me and Chris, we're not that close. I'd hate to have to hug him. And then the only other twist that we give the levels is sometimes you've got to make multiple snowmen. So I'm going to make Jack and Jill. There's no hills in this game though, so don't mind me. I'm just solving the puzzle. This is easy. This game is just really easy because all you have to do is know the solutions, and then you do the solution, and then you win the level. I don't really get why people are saying that it's hard. I mean, it's not that hard. You just make some snowmen. So let's say hi to Jack and Jill. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. I don't like this. Let's get rid of that. So yeah, that's the game. You just wander through this world and you make some snowmen. I guess. No, that's it. You made your choice. The telescope is dead to us now. None of us can, like, even in real life, there's no telescopes for us. We've made, like, there was a path, and we went down the path of never looking into a telescope in a game or in real life.
It's like Civilization, where you like never invent the horse and buggy, but you get nuclear weapons somehow.
So I guess question, yes. So mostly it's the same as my process for designing the levels in all my puzzle games, which is I will lay down the gameplay elements in kind of a nice symmetrical pattern. It looks pretty. And then I'll try and solve the level, and it'll be terrible. It'll be like, what? This is trivial. I can just do it. Or like, oh, this is impossible because you can't push this to there. And then you'll go, oh, well, okay, if it's too easy, then I'll just add a wall there. Ha, take that. And then if it's too hard, then I'll just move this thing here. And then, oh no, now it's too easy. And I just iterate, and after a while of playing around, I'll stumble across something that's actually interesting, and I'll go, oh, let's make a level where you have to do that, or which does this. And so it's mostly playing around until I find something cool, and then making that cool thing the thing that it's about.
Do you do a lot of playtesting with other people, or are you just your own gauge for whether things are at the right level of difficulty?
No, like, I can be a good first pass. Like, if I don't know whether the level is possible, then I can solve it, and it's kind of like a stranger playing it. But, like, no, I do a bunch of testing on other people, because once you do know what the level is about, that's kind of in your head, and you can't forget that your intended solution for a puzzle is something. And somebody else who doesn't know that will probably find the trivial solution of just, oh, you just push that there and then it works. And so you go, oh, well, that's no fun. Like, there was this beautiful thing that I had in my head and you've ruined it. So no, definitely testing on as many people as possible is good.
Brandon had a question, but I wanted to talk to you about the sale that you had.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was really cool. So tell them about the sale that you guys did.
Yeah, so for launch, we were selling the game for pay what the temperature is, where every day the snowman... So the monster actually lives in Kew Gardens in London, and so every day he, like... When we launched, he would go to an abandoned weather station and check the temperature in London, and he'd update the price of the game based on how hot it was. So if it was cold, then like if it was 3 degrees out, then the game would be $3, and if it was 20 degrees out, the game would be $20. Now, as it happens, the game only ever was in the range of $6 to $12. Which is pretty much what we wanted it to be, which is a marvelous coincidence. But whether or not I can control the weather is not the point. So yeah, that was a fun gimmick. Like, I had this idea for ages during the demo. I thought, oh, that would be fun. And then towards the end, we had to actually do it. And like the weather turned out the right range of temperatures. So that was nice. Yeah, we got some coverage, and then a couple of sites posted about it the day before the sale went live, because I didn't clearly state the embargo dates, so that was fun, and then they didn't post about it. So my game does not crash. That's not a thing that's possible. But I'm just gonna boot that right back up. Kyle. So there is an error message saying it couldn't play that file. That's a lie. It's playing the file. I don't know why it says the error message, but people don't see the console, so nobody knows. Yeah, if you go to Bandcamp, Ryan has the soundtrack. I don't know if they're named. You might need to just play through them and work it out from context. I think he gave them better names than that for the right. Oh yeah, no, you can totally find the game files if you own the game. So yeah, there you go. That's the way to find the secret. Not actually secret. It's just in the game audio tracks.
So we have a question from the Twitch stream.
Oh, yeah?
Which is, has Puzzle Script changed the way that you design puzzle games, and are you prototyping bigger games using Puzzle Script? Can you explain what Puzzle Script is?
Sure. Okay, Puzzle Script is amazing. It's like the best thing ever. Yeah! It's possibly only as amazing as it is to me, a person who makes thinky 2D tile-based puzzle games. But if you're in that really, really tiny niche, man, Puzzle Script is the thing to use. But it's also really cool just from... If you don't have in your head that specific a kind of thing, like, it's really accessible. Anyone could use Puzzle Script. Anyone can pick it up. You don't need to know how to program. You just need to know how to type and how to think a bit. You don't need to be good at graphics, because all the graphics in a Puzzle Script game are 5x5 pixel images. And in fact, so this is one of the things I was going to cover, is some of the tools we use to make the game. So I'm going to show you the Puzzle Script demake / prototype of A Good Snowman. and I can show you how PuzzleScript works. The question was, did it change how I design games? And yes, like before I started using PuzzleScript, I made a big project called Sokobond, which was another thinky 2D turn-based, tile-based puzzle game. Yeah. And that was a big project. It took like a year and a half, and I was burnt out. So I started making small things in PuzzleScript, and I haven't really made anything else since, like with the exception of Snowman, which I prototyped in PuzzleScript. So here is A Good Snowman is easy to demake. Bam! That's the game. This is the game. Like, this is the entire game. Like, you could make the whole game in PuzzleScript, and just like it wouldn't look as nice. It would be pretty terrible. Like, most of the charm of Snowman is in the graphics. The puzzles are okay. Like, they're fine. They do the job, but like really, it's the framing that does it. But the whole code for this game. The whole code for everything, including data, art, levels, gameplay, sounds, is 300 lines long. Half that is levels. A third of that is graphics. And then this is the gameplay rules. PuzzleScript is so simple because you're just defining pattern matching. You say, if the player is trying to move into a snowball, then push the snowball along. If the snowball is going to be pushed into a bigger snowball, push it on top. And that's the rules. If the snowball is a large, a medium, or a small, then that's it. You've won the game. So I prototyped the rules for A Good Snowman in like 4 hours on the first day of development. And then there was a while of making levels, but most of the time was just spent making it look nice and and implementing everything and making it interact and feel like a nice place to be. The rules for how the game works were kind of like, actually, this is a fun story. I had this vague idea of, I want to make a snowman building game, and I was talking to Ben, and we were like, yeah, let's make a quick jam game. It'll take a week. And I was like, well, so let's make a Christmas game. I've got this idea for making snowmen, and it's kind of side-on, and it's probably going to be awkward to do in PuzzleScript, but I really want to try and make it. And he was like, that game totally works if you make it top-down rather than side-on. And like, for some reason, I didn't realize that that was all I needed to do to make it a good game. So Ben, like, if it wasn't for that, like, Ben kind of designed. He pushed me towards making it like actually work, and then the rest was mostly level design as far as the puzzles go. So this is PuzzleScript. You've got up here the graphics, which are just 5x5 pixel images. You define the colors that they have, and then you just define like which pixel should be what color. It's really basic. And then the second part of the question was, am I making bigger games in PuzzleScript? And yes and no. I did release a game a few months back called Skipping Stones to Lonely Homes, which is the biggest PuzzleScript game I've made. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's got like secrets and everything, which is actually kind of hard in a PuzzleScript game, because you're so limited. But in general, I'm pretty happy making small projects. Like I have a Patreon for free puzzle games that I've made about 8 puzzle games in the last year. And PuzzleScript keeps them smallish and self-contained and doesn't let me like go crazy and like have massive feature creep, which is good, especially if I'm happier making small games than big games, which I am. So yeah, PuzzleScript is a good tool for keeping me focused, and like with 5x5 pixel graphics, you can't spend forever making it look pretty. It's just like, yeah, that works. I'll move on to something else. I'll move on to making levels. And yeah, it's a really cool tool, and it's pretty much the only thing I'm comfortable like making games on my own with now, because I can't be bothered programming. Programming is too much work. So I was actually going to show you some of the tools for the game that we used. So this is PuzzleScript. This is what I used to prototype, and actually I made all the levels in PuzzleScript. This has a built-in level editor, so you can go like that, and bam, like we'll have some snow there, and put a snowball there, and then you can save it, and you've got a level. Just copy that into a text file. That's the level. So for the whole of the game, this is the only level editor I used. And then the other thing that we needed was a way to arrange the levels relative to each other. So this is the level editor, the level arranger, and I can just drag things around and go, well, let's put the entrance here instead, and need to add a door. And then bam, that's the world. It was something that I kind of always knew that I wanted to do, to have all the puzzles in one world, because it just felt right. Like I knew I wanted branching levels so that you wouldn't get stuck on one puzzle, and then the fact that you had an avatar walking around each level meant it was kind of a logical thing to go, oh no, we'll have them like next to each other and you can just walk between them. I didn't realize at the time just how nice that would feel. Like, I'm really happy with how it feels like you're just wandering around a place. It's kind of an artificial place if you think about it. It's just like a bunch of hedges. It's the weirdest garden ever. You'd not visit this place, especially not in summer, because there'd be no snow, no snowballs, and so you'd just be stuck in one of the rooms because you wouldn't be able to open the doors because there would be no snowman. But yeah, so I made this tool to arrange the levels, and then I could make it so that the difficulty of the game slowly gets harder. There's a couple of bottleneck levels where you have to progress through a certain part, but mostly, like towards the end of the game, it's just like, you could go half a dozen different ways, and as long as you find everything, then that's good. So yeah, those are the two big tools that I used during the development. As well, Ben, he animated everything using Flash and then wrote some code to export everything as bitmaps, and it sounded complicated, but I didn't have to do it or touch it, so whatever. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much all I have to talk about, unless you guys want to hear about some secrets. Wiley.
That was a thumbs up.
Oh, okay. Kyle.
Can you talk really briefly about how you work together with, who's your musician?
Ryan Roth.
So fast.
So actually, it's interesting that originally we kind of thought that the game would be darker than it is, like it would be creepier. One of our first ideas for the setting was you'd be walking around in children's backyards, and you'd be just breaking into their back garden and making a snowman for them, and then walking along. And then, even after we knew it would be in a kind of garden-y setting, it's still... We didn't realize how cheerful it was for a long time, or how cheerful it could be. So the music doesn't really fit the graphics, and that's nice. I'm not going to say what's happened in this world, but if you think about it, like, this guy he's walking around, he seems pretty lonely. Have you noticed that? He's just making all these snowmen, and because that's all the friends he has in the world. what happened to it? So it's kind of a bleak story, and originally we were like, oh yeah, make the music super dark to represent like how horrible everything is in the world. But so part of the music is like that, and then when you complete a level, it's like, oh, there's bird song and everything's right with the world. The way we collaborated with Ryan, it was mostly just like we showed him the game. He was like, yeah, I want to make music for your game. And then like, great, let's make music for the game. And so he sent some tracks, and they were mostly good, and then we had them in the game. And yeah, we wanted to do a bunch of stuff of like dynamic music, but we found it pretty hard to find places to put it. So there's a few places where the music changes, like if you have stacked snowballs. Oh, that's not going to work. So the moment you stack some snowballs, then there's another track that fades in there. And there's tracks for if you're like leaning into a hedge, or if you're on a bench, or if you're hugging a snowman. Hugging the snowman is nice. Let's just have a moment here. But yeah, in terms of back and forth, there wasn't a lot. It was mostly he just did what felt right to him, and then it was good. So if you want to do good stuff, find somebody talented and work with them, I guess. I don't really have much to say about that. Yeah. Any other questions? No, you made your call. No telescope for you. So, secrets though. Secrets. So, do you notice this butterfly? Oh. So, no, away with you. You don't actually get a butterfly every time you complete a level. Sometimes you just do it wrong, and you won't get a butterfly. And that's something that some people, they think they're smarter than the game. Let's find a level that people have. Sally is probably a good example. So, some people are like, well, this level's hard, I'm just gonna break it. I need to work out how they break it. Never mind. You don't get to find out about the butterflies. I can't be bothered. But there's a better secret. There's a better secret. So I'm just gonna skip ahead to the end of the game. Oh, this is nice. So this is the final level. Well, like it's the hardest level in the game, and it's called Barren Island, and this is Ben, and this is Alan. For some reason, I'm really sad. Like, he couldn't. Like, I said to him, like, I look really sad. Why do I look sad? And he tried a bunch of stuff, and there's nothing he could do. Like, I just always look sad. Like, it's the beard. People with beards look sad. So I'm just sad. I'm just crying my face out, which is a bad idea if you're a snowman, because you'll melt your face. So this is the final level. It's pretty much the only really difficult level in the game, but there's a way to do it without that's less work if you're willing to forgo the butterfly thing. But I'm not going to get into it. You can work the butterfly thing out for yourself. So you complete the game. Like, if you make all the snowmen, then this gate, well, there was a gate there, and it'll swing open, and you're free of your friends. You can go and escape them. And so this happens, and it's just like, oh, it's nice. I'm seeing all the friends that I've ever made, all the friends I'll ever have, in the world. Because the rest of the world, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go out there. Terrible things lurk outside the garden. But it's fine. Inside the garden, it's nice. It's happy, and you might have thought that he left the gate, but his heart will always be here. There'll be something drawing him back. And that's that. That's the end. It's where we and the monster part. Oh wait. Okay, so originally we had something else here that was kind of like, I think it was a now to dream, but people didn't get that was like pushing them to say, oh, there's more stuff here. And it turns out that if you've got like a secret half of the game, you kind of want people to play the secret half of the game, because otherwise they think it's really short. So we did this, and it's kind of half-assed, and like, who really wants to put the end ... question mark at the end of that? Like, that's just amateur. Like, that's just lazy. But there we go. That's what we did. So like, that's not it. There's more. I'm going to tell each and every one of you what. So we've walked back in through that gate, but actually there's another gate in the world. There's a gate at the end, but there's also the gate at the beginning. Always there's two gates. So if we walk back all the way through, you know what? This is a lot of walking. Sure would be nice if we had a shortcut. Actually, I think I've passed all the shortcuts. Sure would be nice if we had a shortcut. Let's just have a little rest here. Whoa! So this is the dream world, and it might seem like there's not a lot going on here, but now that on its own, like, that's fine. That's not really a secret. That's just a weak gimmick. But this is where we came in. But the door was locked when we came in. Now if we go through it, ooh, this is the first level, and there's Lucy. We remember Lucy. Here's Andy. Hi, Andy. And I've got Tanya here. Hi, Tanya. But what are we meant to do? This is like a flipped version of the world. What can we do here? Why have we come? Well, the bench. You're right. There's no bench in the main world. But here there's a bench. So we sit on this bench. Maybe we have a little nap. Ooh. So here we have some snowballs. Let's push them around. Like, oh no! They're getting smaller. This horrible hellscape, it melts the snowballs as you push them. They're going to be too far away to do anything with them. This is horrible. I've just destroyed Lucy. I've just destroyed her spirit body. I'm a monster. I'm a horrible person. What can I do? Like, I'm stuck now. What is there to do now? Well, I'll tell you what you have to do. You have to go back to the world of the waking. And you have to kill Lucy again. And then you rebuild her better. And by better, I mean in the right place. I'm so sorry. It was an accident. I meant to build you there in the first place. I'm sorry. I was incompetent. This is actually kind of complicated because I've got to do this in the right order. There you go, Tanya. Nobody will ever hurt you ever again. Because I'm going to wall you in there. Hi, Andy. Make sure Tanya doesn't get out, okay? And now we're talking. We got ourselves a small snowball there. We got ourselves a medium snowball here. Should I do it? Who knows what horrors it might unleash? Okay, you've learned your lesson from the telescope thing. What's down here? So now we've got... Okay, so this telescope doesn't really count. This is a dreamy telescope, so we can look into this one. We can see that it's the same levels we've been through before, but they're different. They're placed differently. And for each snowman in the world, there is a snowball in your dream. It's a metaphor for something. I'm not going to tell you what. Now, it's obviously not possible to make all the snowmen in the dream. That would be a fool's errand. But if somebody did that, that would be real. That would be special. And my hope for all of you is that one day you too can be real and special. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Any more questions for our guest? That really kind of explained everything. We're going to take a little break if nobody has any other questions, and then we're going to get ready for Natalie Lawhead and Lauren Schmidt. Please, if you have purchased food or alcohol and not yet paid, you need to pay. And I'd like to once again thank our sponsors, Sony PlayStation and Alienware and Humble Bundle.
Did you have a question, Ian? Only you can answer that. Only you.
Ian,
In
are
your
you,
heart,
are you real?
know. Yeah. No, so there's not specific tracks for specific levels. It's more tied to specific triggers. And yeah, so we had the game and we sent it to them. We had a bunch of hooks with placeholder music in there, and then we're like, okay, you can overwrite this file, and then they could test it and see how it sounds. Somebody in the middle there? No? How long can your finger keep a key held down? Yep. Finishing it. So it was basically done for so long. Like, people would look at it and go, "Man, you must be almost done." And people were saying that for like a year. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Because the stuff that we were adding was all kind of tangential. Like, the puzzles were there for so long. The basic graphics were there. But the heart was missing. Like, people didn't know that they needed to be able to hug snowmen. But they did. People didn't know that they needed to be able to sit on benches. But, I mean, that should be obvious. You have a bench, you should be able to sit on it. So it's just adding those interactions that took a lot of time, and adding the small details and adding the secrets actually didn't take up that much time. It was always in the back of my head, oh yeah, I need to get around to that. And then I'm really fortunate that it turned out as an interesting system, because I didn't have a backup plan for that. So yeah, like, just the amount of time that it spent in the phase of looking done, but knowing internally, oh, we've got so much work to do. That was the hardest part. Yep. I probably had like a third of the puzzles in the first day, and all of them in the first 6 months. Yep. The stuff that isn't really responsible by me, like the graphics and the sounds. Like, as a puzzle game, it's good, but it's not hard enough for my liking. But that's also something that other people like about it, that it's not like ridiculously hard. But for me, as a puzzle game, it's like, yeah. But no, I'm super happy with like everything about how it feels to be in that world.
As far as we know, Ryan Roth hasn't like snuck in without any of us knowing.
I don't think so.
No?
Maybe he's dead. Maybe he's a snowman now.
That's a really grim thing to think in the middle of your panel about the game that you made with him. Do we have any additional questions for Alan? We could all just kind of like hang out. I just realized that the next panel doesn't start for a while. We could kind of just all hang out and listen to the music, because it's kind of chilling me out right now. I don't know.
There will never be a sequel.
No sequel.
Fuck sequels.
Sandcastles, that's a good one.
Goodbye, Kyle.
We're losing Kyle. Everybody say bye to Kyle.
Alright, I think that's everything. Thanks for coming and seeing this and not laughing at me.
We laughed with you. Everybody, another warm round of applause for our guest, Alan Hazelden. And once again, you can play this game in the arcade if you want to try your skills, try and find out if you are in fact real. We've got arcade going for the remainder of Fantastic Fest. That's in the Highball. And we're going to set up for our next panel in just a moment. Next panel's at 6, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to work.
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to, like, a free play?
So I actually have something. Many of you may not know, my favorite Alan trivia is that he was the first person in the world to beat Mega GURP, which, if you played GURP, that's Fadi's like rock climbing game. The Mega version is the one that you play in a dance mat that Doug Wilson did. There's a video of it. Should we watch the video and then get you to talk to us about your experience being the first Mega GURP champion?
And the good part about that is it took me about 45 minutes to climb the Mega GURP thing, and that's about as long as we've got until the next panel. Oh, I didn't realize it would show the...
Are you going to watch a stream of yourself? Alan, are you a gymnast or a professional Twister player in your private life?
No comments.
All right.
Mega GURP is better than anything I will ever make.
Good.
It's the best game. It's just the best game.
We had a tournament of it here. Was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago. Is James Rinovich in the audience? I think he was our winner. Yeah, he was our local. No, you weren't. Who was our local winner? Was it me? I'm pretty great. Maybe we should do Mega GURP again. Can we? Do we still have a mat? We should totally haul out Mega GURP. We should have brought it right now.
I would play that game every day of the year if I had that ability. Like, it's maybe mostly because it's like something that only I have ever done, but also because it's like really fun.
Do you guys know what this is? Are you like familiar with? So it's like already it's a rock climbing game, and then it was already impossibly hard by the guy who made QWOP, and then it was made harder by you have to play it with a Twister mat, or it's a Dance Dance Revolution mat that you use as a Twister mat. So that is incredibly impressive.
Okay, I'm going to go now. Buy my game at agoodsnowman.com. It's hopefully going to be coming out on mobile as well before the end of the year.